Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have the beautiful Patricia Monna here. I am so sorry guys, Rox is not here with us. She's been having a lot of phone issues. Her phone died. So I'm assuming that she doesn't have a new phone yet, but she's having technical difficulties. But she does have the link, so I'm hoping she can come in today. If not, it's okay. Me, Patricia, will be doing Stonehenge together. So welcome back, Patricia. I'm so happy you're here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always my pleasure.
Oh, I love you. I missed you. So
You too.
So what we're gonna do, guys, Patricia and me are just gonna go with the flow. I don't know that much about Stonehenge, but I'm gonna pick up what I can. I did look into it during my meditation. It's not as exciting stuff in today's present time, but there is a lot of past information that's really great information. Maybe Patricia can dive more into the past, but this is what I'm getting right now. What I see with Stonehenge is the way it's set up. It was actually, I see something to do with Druids, a lot to do with Druids. It was a lot of rituals being done during that time. I see people wearing robes and hats and carrying baskets and herbs. So they were doing, I don't know what they were doing in the past, but that's what I'm seeing strongly that I'm getting. But what I see is how it was built. It's built according to like a clock, like a solar clock or compass, something to do with the solar systems, the sky, astrology. But again, I see it's like a solar clock. It is a portal. It is a dimension. It's a vortex. It's a very powerful doorway. But right now, as today, I don't see as being so strong, the magnitude of it, but before it was. But I do feel like during that time, they did a lot of rituals or sacrifice offerings, and it had to do with their gods of who they were offering, in the sky. But I'm seeing a lot to do with astrologies, Orion, a lot to do with Orion, solar system, the gods and goddesses. And again, the way it's built, each angle it's built accordingly. It has to be very precise the way it was built, because this place is, again, it's a vortex, it's a portal, it's a dimension to a different dimension. But it's the way it was built, it was very it's like a lot to do with what is it, Germata or I can't pronounce it. What is it? Yeah, what is it?
Gematria, I think.
Yeah, Gematria. It has a lot to do with numbers, gematria, again, astrology, the solar system, Orion, things like that. But the way it was supposed to be built, it was supposed to be built very scientific, very mathematic, according to the sky. And so and it's like all to do with the seasons. Each arc is built according to the season, like northwest, east, according to like fire, earth, water, air, a lot to do with magic, witchcraft, things like that. And that's all I'm getting.
Okay, well, we got a lot of the same thing.
Yeah.
So what I picked up is these different sacred sites. It's the ley lines underneath the grid that's super important, because I do believe that at different parts of the world, all of the ley lines intersect, and it becomes a natural opening, a vortex of energy. That during certain times of the season, certain times of the year, you can have interdimensional access between those two gateways. And so I absolutely agree with you. I think that those stones were very strategically placed in order to best amplify the acoustic ability within the rocks, because these rocks sing. If you, when I was remote viewing them and when I was listening to them or knocking on them, I could hear a hum coming.
Oh my God.
I could literally feel a vibration coming from the stones. So where those stones were placed, it was for a reason. They didn't get necessarily knocked over, maybe some of them over in time, but the ones that are still standing and on its foundation where it was placed there because that's where the ley line intersected for the greatest amplification of energy. And so when you're remote viewing those sacred rituals and stuff that they were doing there. Absolutely. And the reason why they were doing these rituals was because it was all about resonance. So what they would do is they would purify the body by fasting, eating manna, depending on where they're from. In Egypt, they ate manna to amplify the bioresonance and to clean the energy within their body. So certain herbs, certain foods would help to amplify the person's energy, certain rituals, certain prayers, certain chanting and humming, because that was the other thing that I heard around there was the chanting and humming. And what it does, it actually creates a harmonic convergence, almost like setting a choir. All of a sudden, instead of one voice, you're literally hearing a choir singing when all of these rocks start ringing in tandem. And so just because we can't see what's going on doesn't mean that healing isn't taking place. Because when I remote viewed it, I saw a whole pile of dead bones. I know that this was an ancient burial ground, a sacred burial ground. The other things that I saw was deformities within these bones. So I truly believe that people were bringing their loved ones, as a pilgrimage all this way to Stonehenge, praying for a miracle for their loved ones. I saw little boys with bowed legs crawling and trying to walk in, holding on to sticks, and one little boy that was draped around his father's neck with his legs bowed like this. So I don't know if disease went through that specific part of Europe at one point where children were born with deformed legs or arms, but I specifically saw little boys with deformed legs that were the one kid hanging on to his dad, and his dad is trudging uphill, and he lays him down. He lays down a cloth and he lays his son there, and he's praying over his son for a miracle. And I could see that the little boy passed, but I know that it was Spirit's way of showing me why these people would come here, because depending on, I don't know, so many circumstances that are beyond our control, why is it nowadays that some people, survive cancer or survive, a car accident that would have killed someone else? Because we cannot die before our time. We also cannot survive something that has our death date, our expiration date written all over it. And so what I saw was a lot of people would go there for prayers, praying for miracles, but be very disappointed when they walked away and the miracle did not happen. Yeah. So that's where I believe the disconnect started to come from, was now you have these group of people who, well, I didn't get the miracle. That's witchcraft. I don't believe in that anymore because your God didn't give me a miracle. And I believe that I was actually looking at the imprint of time of where then it had to be, the ceremonies had to be done in secret. At certain times of the year, and if they could, because I could see people sneaking out there and authorities trying to come after them on horses. So I know I wasn't looking at modern day authorities. So it became a protected area. And I believe that the government knew that it was sacred burial ground, sacred land, and that is why they needed to preserve it. But what created the sacredity of the land was the actual vibration and what Mother Nature is doing in that area. And I do believe that resonance can either heal or kill us. It depends on what the intention of the resonance is, right? And it can also lead to so many other things. Like this was a gateway, the same way the Pyramid of Giza. It's a gateway, and like I've told you before in a past interview where they had the two Sphinx. And there was a crown on the Sphinx. And during certain planetary alignments with the solstices and stuff, the sun would rise and shine through the spikes of the crown. And that stream of light would literally lead to a gateway. And so certain people that emitted that specific frequency, or whatever you want to call them, beings, people, whatever, that could hold that very high vibrational energy within their body, they could literally walk through walls. You could walk through a tree. You know how you walk through a tree? Become the tree. I'm not kidding you. If you want to walk through a wall, all you have to do is match the vibration of the wall. and you'll walk through it. And that's breaking down. Any quantum physicist will agree with me on that. And it is that simple. I know it sounds absurd, because how many of us know how to actually do that? Raise our internal resonance so that we can disappear or walk through a wall. We're pretty stuck in our bodies. We've made peace with the fact that we can't. And so therefore, we're locked in this reality where we can't be walking through walls. But technically speaking, if you raise your vibration to match anything, you can walk right through it. It becomes a doorway.
Well, what I got was back then, again, I did see offerings in a basket. And again, they were dressed in certain clothing during certain, like I said, season and their celebrations, their offerings, but they will all be in a circle around Stonehenge, and they had their hands like this, and it was like some kind of lighter energy like was just amplified. And I also see that when you touch the stones, you can see imprints of, like, if you touch it, you can see like handprints, like it's like if I touch it, you can see something through, like somebody touching like a mirror or a reflection. I don't know, when I touch it, I can see imprints of hands or palms. And as well as I felt like when I was there, it was very sad, very detached, it was kind of like a lot of energy sucking out of me.
Well, I picked up a lot of disappointment in the area.
Yeah.
Like people going, yeah, this didn't work. I don't believe in your prayers. I don't believe in your God. I didn't get the miracle I was looking for. That's exactly what they showed me with the little boy with the deformed legs. I'd really like to know what illness that was that went through that area, because it feels like these people came from pilgrimage
I felt like druids,
so they could have come like 300 miles or whatever, you know what I mean, walking there. That's what it appeared to me. But I'm gonna look up and see if any history books I can find in that area where children were born with deformities, because it felt like it was a wave of time that it happened, almost like when in the 70s the doctors were giving pregnant mothers, I think it's called thalidomide, and it created the deformities with the arms and the legs until they figured out what drug was causing that side effect. Well, it was kind of like that, but with disease. I saw deformation on the legs of the children.
No, I see children with their, like, some kind of sticks attached to their leg. So I do see, like, broken limbs. I see one child with some kind of like sticks or something that was built like a cast or something. And I just feel like whatever Stonehenge was, it wasn't what you think it was. I feel like it sucks your energy, like your energy transforms. It's like a transform of energy from this place. It sucks it out of you.
Interesting. So it's
I don't know. I'm seeing that very strong. But I do.
Well, there are places that it'll make you feel like you're downloading, almost overwhelming, that the energy is rushing at you. And then there is other places where it's the yin and the yang, right? It feels like it's sucking the energy out of you. So it very well could be one of those vortexes that is draining instead of giving.
Okay.
It also depends on the way it spins, right? There's so many different factors as to what you'll experience or feel when it comes to a vortex. Like some of them can make you feel super dizzy, tingly all over, almost nauseous. I know when my husband and I went to the Montana vortex, he actually threw up from it because he got so nauseous and dizzy from going in it. Because it can mess with you if they're super strong. So it really depends on so many things as to what you'll experience there.
But if I go today, I mean, today it's not as strong, the magnitude of it. But back in the day, it was super strong. But today, I feel like it's very weak. The current energy is so weak. Oh. But if I touch it, I can feel the vibration, the energy of it. But if I put my ears, I can hear some kind of singing. I don't know if it's like, I'm just seeing like a picture of a bird. Like it's so bizarre.
Oh, like, you just kind of triggered something. I think that, okay, so the ringing that you're hearing, I'm telling you, those rocks, I can hear a choir coming out of them. I can
Yeah,
hear.
like singing of a bird or hymn or
I,
something,
I
some kind of
wonder.
passage.
I wonder if the energy around it now is muted because no one's going there to do the chanting to ignite the energy anymore, right? Because now it's sacred. You're not even allowed to step on it, I think. So here's the thing. If people were going to it regularly and giving their energy, because if you're giving an offering, you're giving of your energy, you're not necessarily receiving, right? So if it needed human energy, whether it's chanting, singing, whatever, to ignite that vortex or to amplify that vortex, well, it would make sense why it's not really working anymore, or it seems mute, or it's been a lot more neutralized because no one's doing it anymore. No one's feeding it the energy that it needs in order to sing, if that makes sense.
Oh, that does. No, I just feel the whole Stonehenge was a purpose for a special group of occult group, religious group, but a very towards occult kind of vibe I'm getting. But if we were to bring positive energy, I do feel we can change that. If we have a lot of, light workers, healers, we could actually change the whole frequency and energy. If it was kind of dark in the past, we could actually kind of transmute it, change it to a much higher vibration.
You reset the matrix
Yes.
that's in the area.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
So yeah, you can erase pain from a matrix. So it's the same thing like with Flanders Fields or even 9/11. Like when I went there a few years after it happened, the minute you even walk a block away from it, you could feel the vortex of sadness and the tears and the tragedy that came from that huge city block, right? So it becomes part of the imprint. It's a geographical imprint of energy that happens when you have mass ascension in one area. Same thing with when you have a bunch of dead bones in one area. Well, guess what? Those bones represented a personal vibration. Mm-hmm. So when someone is buried into the ground, their personal vibration is forever stamped into the matrix in that area. So anyone who was buried, doesn't matter when they were buried in that area, their energy is still all over it. Yeah. Now, if they died in a state of famine or illness or poverty or war, well, you're going to feel that effect. And that's why it's not going to feel the fuzzy, warm sensation that sacred sites necessarily give you. Because there's some churches that you walk into and you're just like, oh, I feel like I've come home. Like some of the huge, great cathedrals and stuff, you can just feel the power in these sacred sites because so many prayers have been said in that destination, in that spot. It's literally in the walls, it's in the ground, it's all around, it's in the glass, it's in the wood, right? So the prayers of the people that were in this area, all the energy that they called upon and worked as proxies for this energy to pour through, it's still there.
Yeah. No, what I saw, Patricia, was why they picked this area. I felt there was some kind of war during that time before, and a lot of people died. And that's why they always pick a place where there's a lot of death. And that's because the energy is so high, the vortex, and as well as I can definitely see that that is the reason. And also I hear church bells. I don't know why I'm hearing ringing of a church bell as well in that area. I don't know if you picked that up too.
Well, to me, it sounds like the rocks are ringing.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds to me. And it's like, I'd love to know what they're made of. What type of stone.
Stones, yeah.
Even stones, like that was the other thing that I picked up too, was the vibration of that stone was distinctively different than other stones that were in the area or in the ground. So I know that those stones were mined or carried or brought over from somewhere else. They weren't just stones that they got off of a cliff 10 meters away. They feel like they were hauled and transported.
Oh yeah, off Earth. Definitely this reminds me of the moon. When I reviewed the moon and I talked about the stones they use, or the rocks, how they build is very, very, it has a lot of energy and frequency. And I think it has some kind of connection with the moon, the way they built their pyramid, everything. Yeah, when you go to the moon, I mean, there's lost cities, pyramids, but I also felt like I saw this before, where the stones they built had such high frequency, high energy to build
Yep.
them. And I think there is a connection off Earth, because I was pointing to the astrology, the solar system. Something to do with the solar system is connected to the stones. It brings up some kind of frequency.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because I also wrote that the ringing in the stones comes from a distinctive species that replies when those stones are ringing. So, and so it is like picking up a phone when you're doing the chanting or, you know, the ceremony in that area. It is like a specific species is answering to that, or a specific bloodline that isn't on Earth is answering that call, is what it feels like. It doesn't feel angelic to me. It doesn't feel like God's love being poured down through the portal in heaven.
Definitely a type of
like that. There's no fluffy, you know, I wish I could say it's a great portal, but it doesn't feel like that to me. It feels like there's a lot of death and sadness and sorrow around it. So, and what's interesting is I so badly want to go there. I've never been to England, Ireland, and I have an Irish passport and I've never been there. So I got to make that happen soon.
Well, one last thing, I don't know if you picked this up. The people who died there, I feel like there are a lot of lost souls, like souls trapped in that grid. I don't know if they've been released, but I just feel like there's a lot of because I hear so many voices all around. But I also feel like there's souls that are trapped, or they're not released, or there's something about that that's just bugging me.
You are 1000% correct. Because when I went to go do this exercise and meditate and close my eyes, all I could see was 1,000 different faces coming at me. There were all these faces. And I kept asking, who are you? Who are these faces? And I knew that they were attached to the stones, that they had not left, that they were still there. And I saw that so clear as a bell. So yes, 1,000%. They are still there. And I think all they need to do is have someone do a ceremony and open the gate. It is that easy.
It is a gateway.
Some souls, absolutely. You know, some souls have never heard of God or Jesus or Buddha or Allah or Krishna. You know, so there's no path. They have no path. So they become directionless souls. And I do believe that happens, that they can get trapped in this earthly realm due to vibrations. So yeah, I think that if someone was just to go there and bless the land and release them, I think that there would be such a difference in the matrix there. You can literally pull out the pain out of that matrix. So there's healing on the land.
Yeah, Patricia, if you ever go there, you're going to be able to see, like I said, imprints, like hand imprints. If you just touch it, you can see some kind of reflection, or hands. You could see something like, if you look at it really close and you think you see something kind of like a face through the stones, you're going to see faces. You're going to see hands popping up. Literally, it's the soul, the spirits that you're seeing. If you pay close attention, you're going to see things from the stone, like a reflection of a mirror.
Wow. One day, it's on the bucket list. For sure. It's totally on the bucket list.
Yeah, so that's all I have. It's very interesting, very cool, you know. Like I said, if anybody goes there, you can release, you know, if they allow you to do it. I don't know how the government is there now.
Oh, I just have one more thing that I forgot to say, was the direction of this portal, because I actually think that it could be possibly 3 portals in one, because I actually picked up 3 different frequencies going on in one area. So it was almost like, let me draw it. Hang on.
Oh yes, that is like doorways, like different doorways.
It was like this. So I saw 3, and I think that this one would be where the big stones are, right? The outer layer. Then I saw, so if the outer layer went this way, the inner layer went this way. And then the one closest to the middle goes the other way. So I saw 3 different energies swirling like this. It almost reminded me of the inside of a clock from the 1700s.
Yes.
that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, me too.
So I do believe that there is something to that the way the energy is coming in and I don't know, circulating through the area, there's different directions of it.
Yeah.
So I think that there would be a way to measure that, to find that, because it almost feels like 3 different force fields. Like if this one, we'll say the EMF registered at 7.83 hertz, the next one's going to register at 10.2, and then the next one will register at like 12.3. You know what I mean? It just feels like it gets more concentrated the closer it gets to the middle. But there is an effect of it coming on the outside. So here's the other thing that I drew in my notes was that this, the energy is being scattered out, not necessarily going in this way. It felt like it was
upward.
Yeah.
Like splash, like
being pushed out.
Yeah.
Pushed out through the ley lines of the land. So I don't know. I didn't like the energy there.
Me neither. I did see ETs landing there in the past. They were making ET contacts. I see some ETs coming down during whatever this group was. Like I said, I saw a lot of druids there, and I also saw, I don't know if I saw leprechauns. I know that's a little far-fetched, but there was, I don't know what these are called, but the little people. There was also little people. I don't know what's that. Oh, it's so hard to explain. I don't know if Patricia, you saw that, but there was also little people I saw, but
well, I did see that
dwarves, I guess what they're called back then.
Well, I think that there's also a connection between this place and the crop circles that are in the area in England. I really think that there is a connection. Either it is the same species that responds to the call from Stonehenge, and that ringing that I can keep hearing reverberating out, that belongs to a specific species of, I don't know, ETs, whatever you want to call it. It just feels like a specific resonance. Yeah. Well, so do the crop circles. They feel completely like they vibrate completely different than the rest of the land. And I know that I watched it even somewhere where someone took an EMF detector and detected the grass and measured the energy in the grass from where it wasn't, affected by the crop circle, and then the grass that was bent for the crop circle, and they measured differently. So that resonant difference, I believe, is the energetic footprint or fingerprint of that species.
Yeah. Well, I do feel there was leprechaun. I feel like that's how they got their leprechaun myth from Stonehenge. I had a lot of connection with that. I think that's how that story kind of started with leprechauns. It really is connected with Stonehenge back during that time.
Well, if I go to Ireland and I ever see one, I'll be sure to film it and tell you all about it.
That'd be cool. I mean, is there anything else you would like to add, Patricia? Because I know you have to go soon.
I think we covered it.
Yeah.
All really, yeah. Spirit communication. Yeah, I think we got it.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I love doing this with you all the time. We just always flow. And I get so excited too, and I know you get excited.
I love it. I love it. It's nice to do this with another like-minded individual who sees just as clear. So it's wonderful. Thank you for your show again.
Patricia, would you like to add anything new regarding your channel or any new workshop for my subscribers?
I am actually leading a psychic activation meditation tomorrow night from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can sign up at my website at www.patriciamonna.com. This is going to be one heck of an awesome activation meditation. My guides have been showing me how to work with you all in the quantum field to be able to do some frequency adjusting. So, and that's all it is, frequency adjusting, so that we can sharpen our psychic senses. Everything is energy. So that's exactly what we're going to delve into tomorrow night from 7 to 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So I really hope that you can join me there.
And people can still join, correct? It's not too late?
Yeah, you can sign up to 2 hours before the event. So starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow.
Well, Patricia, you have a beautiful week. And like I said, I love doing this with you, and congratulations on your channel. I know your channel is definitely growing. You have an amazing channel as well. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for just coming on my channel. I love doing the remote views with you. And I'm so sad that Rox couldn't come on. But I understand about her situation, but thank you so much. I know you have to go. You enjoy your beautiful night.
Thank you so much, my friend. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.